Some of the most critical steps of starting your model for our architecture class comes right at the beginning, and that is the saving. All right, so what we're about to do is right here I have a completed project. If I scroll down in my list, you can see I have all 5 sheets that I need. Okay, everything is done. I just zoomed in where I didn't want to. We are all set. So I have a completed project right here. Now at this point, as a student in the class, you've probably turned in some of your initial turn-ins and may not have the feedback for all of them and may not have printed your final copies. Okay, so we do not want to alter this file. So what we want to do is make a copy of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to File. As soon as Revit wakes up, go down to Save As and leave it as Project. So File, Save As, and then Project. In the same folder where this lives, I'm able to just, at the end of the word project, add dash model. Okay, to get the model version. By the way, I should have done a normal save before this. I probably should have pointed that out. Normal save first, then the save as to change the name. So dash model is the one I'm going to adjust for my model project. So as I hit save, it's going to do its thing. At the top, I am going to see it change names after it thinks it needs to be not responding for a second. I'm going to see it change names to dash model. All of this, okay, now it says house project model. So I know I'm working on the correct one. So that's my biggest start, okay? My next biggest start. I am going to come down to the sheets and I am going to delete a lot of them. So when I click on them here and I right click, I can actually just use delete on the keyboard. I'm going to leave elevations because I will end up using that one, but I am going to delete all of the rest of them because none of them are the way that I want them to be, okay? From this point, we've got several things to do, all right? The main thing that we need to do is we need to create clean views of every exterior wall. So what that means is I want to be able to see the entire wall unobstructed, no trees in the way from my site plan, no anything else in the way. Literally walls, doors, windows, parts of the house, all right? We're even going to hide the roof and the ceiling so that all we have is the wall, okay? And the one thing we want to do is we want to keep track, all right? So as you can see, I have the snipping tool out now because certain of my elevations will show exactly what I need. Here, for example, if I look at my house from the south, I will see this entire wall right here. I will see this entire wall right here. And I will see a little bitty piece of this wall right here at just the very end. So, excuse me. So I'm going to need to do something to get a view of this entire wall. Okay, you can see the same thing from the north. From the north, I can see this entire wall, but I can't see this one at all. So I'm going to have to do something to get those. So one of the things that we want to do to keep track of it is I'm going to use my snipping tool. This is the older snipping tool. So you may want to look it up and open this one specifically as opposed to the newer Sketch and Snip. Or you can do something similar if you're used to the new one, similar to what I'm going to do. So I'm going to double check, make sure my mode is a rectangular snip, and I'm going to click New. I would encourage you after you do this to save this picture somewhere, but I'm going to basically snip my floor plan, okay? And I'm going to use my pen, okay? And I have it currently set in red, and that's just fine. Okay, so what I want to do is you can do this a couple of ways. Number one, if you know that you're going to get that wall in a special view or in a certain view, like that's fine. You can label it that way. So like I could just put an N on this wall. Okay, and as I look from the east, I'm going to get the east view is going to give me this wall, and the east view is going to give me this wall. The southern view is going to give me that one and this one. Okay, the western one will give me that wall, this wall, and this wall. Okay, and those are all for my standard elevations. Like, I like color coding stuff, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch now to blue, and I'm going to label this number 1 and label this number 2. Okay, those are 2 walls that I'm going to have to get separately and specially to make sure I have the entire wall. Okay, so that's what I'm doing this, and then at this point you can do File Save As, and you can save this snip into somewhere. I would say you should probably do it into the same folder where everything else is. All right, but I would have this open so you can kind of look at it. So for me, I have my regular elevations. It's going to give me the vast majority of what I need. And I have 2 walls that I'm going to have to set up a special elevation for. So I, right now, am going to, in this view, go ahead and I got to move my little recorder thing. I'm going to show my hidden elements, which there's going to be a bunch from site plans, everything else. And as you can see, I have my elevation markers. I'm going to right click on my elevation markers, unhide in view, and I'm going to unhide that category. So I see all of my elevation markers. And I'm also going to click do not crop the view. I'm going to not show the cropping view, and I didn't want to uncrop my stuff. Let's try that one more time. Unhide in view, category. I might have misclicked. Yeah, I guess it did misclick. Sorry about that. And now I can see my elevations. So one of the cool things is when you click on the triangle part, it gives you a line, and you can see that this line goes along each side. As I go across there, and that's actually going to be very important, and as I go around, you know, I've got that entire thing, got this entire thing, got that entire thing. Everything with that looks good to go. Okay, so my northeast, southwest elevations are all good to go. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to click Elevation. And what this does is this creates a new one. And I'm going to get it pointing at the house in the correct direction. And then I'm going to need one pointed that way. Oh, actually, the newer version will let me point them right at the wall. So I'm going to delete the first one I made. So I'm going to come back and put that there and put that there. Okay, so under Modify, I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to push Delete. Yes, I want it deleted. But what you will notice is now under elevations, I've got elevation 2A and 3A. And if I click on, I believe if I highlight on it itself, I get this line. And this line is very important. So the line will let me look at exactly what I want to look at. So if I make this line kind of just maybe a little over this whole wall, I might even let it creep into the house a little bit. That's what I want, is I want this view of this wall, and I don't need it to be huge. So as I point here, again, I can grab this and bring this in to make the view a smaller view. I can go into the wall slightly so I make sure I get the entire wall. Okay, and then this one, so I can double, let's see. Yeah, if I hover over it, it'll tell me. This one is 3A. So this one being 3A, for me, I can double click on it. I can also right click on it and rename it. And this one was wall 1, which matches my snipping tool diagram, this one here, as wall 1. As you can see, it has the 2 windows in it. Now, in this view, I'm going to do a couple of things. First off, it is showing the cropped region. I'm going to hide that. And I am going to hide a lot of stuff. Okay, anything that's basically not the walls, the windows. So hide in view category. I don't want to see any lights, so I'm going to hide in view element. I don't want to see the roof. Hide in view category. Okay. I don't want to see, I believe this is floor, so I'm going to hide in view category for that. So I get just the walls. Okay, just the wall is what I'm looking for. I kind of wish we didn't have that little cutout, but we can make that work. And that's what I'm going to do for each one of my elevations, actually. And I'm going to pick the other one. Click slowly on it so I can rename it. And this one was wall 2. And I am going to set up all of them in the exact same way. Now, you're also going to have to probably do this with some of your other views. You might see trees and stuff like that. And again, it's mostly hide in view category that you're going to want to do, because then that gets rid of all the trees. I got the fence, hide in view category, roof, same thing, hide in view category, all the roofs go away. You might see parts of other walls, and that's not a problem. I don't need any of this. I don't need the tables. I don't need the hot tub. If you were going to like create the hot tub in your model, you would do it separately and get these all ready to go. These are some external outlets that I'm not worried about. These posts, I'm going to go ahead and hide that category as well, so I'm not seeing those. But what I have, walls, windows, doors, outlets, etc. Okay, so you're going to have to do this on all of your views. At this point, I'm actually going to cut the video real quick, double check all of my views, and then you'll see a quick transition, and we'll come back to how do we now put them on a piece of paper so they are ready to print. Our next step is to get everything we need on a sheet or maybe 2 in order to print it. As you can see, I have cleaned up all of my other ones. You can also, if there's extra stuff above what you need, you can look at it. Like this one, there's extra walls sticking up that I don't need. If I turn on my cropped region and I click on it, I can get the dot and actually bring it down a little bit so that my view is a little bit smaller. What you'll notice is if I do that, and then I'm going to hide that again. If I do that, I might be more likely to actually get things all on a single sheet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to elevations. Okay, as you can see, everything's updated. Everything is at 1/8 inch to a foot scale. It's highly important that you print everything at the same scale. Now, one of the things I want to do is I actually want to make a couple changes. Okay, first thing, I'm going to change my sheet name to model. Okay, so that I know that that's what this is for. Now, for page number, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. 1 of, and for now, I'm going to push 1 of 1. Because what's going to happen is we are going to print these, and if for your model you end up needing 2 pages, we want to know that. All right. So first off, I do like the way these are organized, but you are going to end up cutting these out. So if there's a more space efficient way to stack these so that you can get more views on one sheet, that's going to be a great thing. So I'm going to actually kind of stack mine up over here to make sure I know those are my 4 standard views. All right, the next thing I'm going to bring on is the extra ones that I made. So I'm going to grab wall 1, bring it out and drop it. I'm going to make sure it is set at no title, and I'm going to make sure it's set at the sheet scale. So one of the things you might have noticed is my sheet scale on here said as indicated when I had one on here that was different. Okay, we don't want that. All right, so make sure that you change that. So again, as I bring this out and drop it, it comes out as what I'm going to call the wrong scale. Okay, and 1/8 of an inch to a foot so that this goes back to it. And I did not set that one up. So we're just going to pretend that one's ready to go, because obviously I would go back and fix this before printing it, because I don't want all that stuff showing over my clean wall, okay, and the roof and all that sort of stuff. So I do have more work to do on that. So you need all your views, okay, all your views need to be on here. The last thing that you're going to need on here is you're going to need your ground level floor plan. And again, I'm going to plop it down way too big. I'm going to change it. It's highly important that this matches. Okay, and I'm going to set this in here. I'm definitely going to go no title. Okay, and if I need to, if there's other stuff, I can actually, one of the better things to do might be to come back here, turn on my, actually I'm just going to click crop the region. And then if I want to, I can hide these. hide in view category, which would probably not be a bad idea. So then I have my floor plan, because what's actually going to happen is I am going to cut this out right along the exterior walls and glue it down. And as I build my walls individually, literally I'm going to glue them on top of this. Okay, so I don't have to worry about which wall goes where and stuff like that. One of the things that I wish we could do is I wish we could duplicate views. So if you are going to need something where you like label your walls, or you want something else like a secondary floor plan to do that, you're going to have to grab one of your other plans, okay? Your room plan or your electrical plan or something like that to put on here, because you cannot, unfortunately, put the same view on here multiple times. So once you get all this set up so that you have all the views you want, okay? And again, I'd have to go back and fix this one, so this is not a great example. I will fix that and post an example with this video. But once you get all this set up, you are good to go. And again, in your drawing scale, it should show the same scale. If it says as indicated, that means one of your views is not set at the same scale, which will mess up your model. Okay, it will not work, it will not work, it will not work. Now, if you have so many walls that you need to go onto a second page, make a second page, put the other stuff you need on there, and then call it 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, so we know when we print them that you have everything you need. You can leave everything else the same, okay? Sheet model on both of them, 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 if you have 2 pages, 1/8 inch to a foot. Everywhere, everybody is making their model at 1/8 inch to a foot, so make sure 1/8 inch to a foot is everywhere, and this is ready to print.